Order, will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please call roll?
Perry. Bilski.
Here.
Allner.
Here.
Vincent.
Here.
Foster.
Here.
Madden.
Here.
Silver.
Janet Keeler from the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities, I think, wanted to say a few words. If you want to step up to the microphone. Don, do we know?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Council President and members and audience. My name is Janet Keeler, and I'm the Director of Community Development for the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Last year, I attended a City Council meeting to reintroduce you to Cuyahoga DD and give you an overview of the work that we do. And I remember distinctly being here because it was the day that your police chief was sworn in. And the room was really filled. And then everyone left. And then I got up to the podium, which was over there, I remember. This year, I'd like to start by recognizing an important milestone for Cuyahoga DD. This is the 20th anniversary of our last levy. 2/3 of Cuyahoga DD's $150 million budget comes from a $3.9 million continuous levy that was last passed by Cuyahoga voters in 2005. So you see, we are good stewards of tax dollars to still be working on a levy passed almost 20 years ago. Our mission is to support and empower people with developmental disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in their community. Last year, we served 23 people with developmental disabilities living in Orange and approximately 15,000 people across the county. This is a 20% increase in people served compared to 2025. From birth through adulthood, we support people with DD to live their best lives. 3 of those people are Carolyn, Sheila, and Peggy, who live in Orange. They share a home, love to be out and about in their neighborhood, shopping, getting their hair done, and going out to eat. Cuyahoga DD supports them by providing local dollars and drawing down federal funding for their home so they might live as safe and independently as possible. Over the last 20 years, this levy, approved by Cuyahoga County voters, has supported people with developmental disabilities through early intervention services, occupational, physical, and speech and language pathology, consultative services to support students in school and transition services, housing and employment supports, and resources to support Orange's community businesses to maximize accessibility and inclusion in their physical spaces, in their services, and in their hiring. Levy funding also allows Cuyahoga DD to make strategic investments in the community. Since 2021, we have granted nearly $1 million to support over 50 community libraries, arts and culture, and recreation and leisure organizations in making their programs and their physical spaces accessible to all people of all abilities. This year, we awarded $180,000 in community grants. As you may or may not be aware, we granted monies to Orange Community and Education and Recreation. They received $5,000 in 2021 and $15,000 in 2023 to support high-quality, adaptive, and inclusive programming. Come January, we'll release another round of grants. In addition to our work to support people with disabilities in Cuyahoga County, we strive to be a resource for communities. We would welcome the opportunity to talk more about how best we can support your Orange Village residents and the businesses and organizations in your community to be inclusive and accessible. Thank you for your time. Happy to take questions if you have them.
Does anyone have any questions for Janet?
I just want to add into that. I can say personal experience. My wife was a teacher in the went on to become the director of children's services in the Lake County Board, and still is involved with kids across the region. That the work that the Cuyahoga County Board does is absolutely essential to our community. How we help the least able in our community says everything about who we are and what we want to invest in and what's important. And therefore, our investment in the future of the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities is absolutely essential to the quality of life in Northeast Ohio. And thank you and good luck.
Appreciate that. Here's some information I'd like to leave for you guys. And I did have breakfast with your wife after last year's council meeting. Was great.
Is there a link? Can we put a link on our website to their, or is that wrong?
You can, absolutely.
Out in general, I don't know.
I have a question. I'm just curious, so who are the best people for you to engage with? Is it actual individuals? Is it organizations within the community? Is it the communities themselves?
It's actually both. So we have 275-ish case managers. We call them support administrators who engage directly with individuals who have caseloads and support them to find resources in the community and help administer their funding. My community development department has sort of 3 buckets. I have a workforce development team which works with any business to help them with their hiring needs by hiring people with developmental disabilities, veterans, older adults, immigrants. They work with all kinds of disenfranchised populations. And there's one that works directly in this region. And I have my bucket of community development folks who works with any organization who wants to be more inclusive and accessible. I have ADA coordinators on staff who are happy to walk your buildings and walk your spaces and help find out where the points of improvement might be. But again, also through our grants, that's a really great way, especially for your Orange Education and Recreation Center, who do such a fabulous job.
Yeah, I'm particularly curious about the schools and the Orange, the PPLC, where my kids have gone through school there. My son is there right now, but I'm curious to kind of hear your take on that. Is there anything in particular that our schools maybe need more of from your point of view that you've seen?
Couldn't speak particularly to Orange schools, but we have a group of people that we call Good Life Ambassadors, and so they are adults with disabilities who come to speaking engagements with us because they have the lived experience. And so I've found it generally in schools, what's helpful is for youth to see adults with disabilities shine and in leadership roles. And so having them come to sort of speak to schools on any level, even elementary schools, is just really fantastic as role models.
I could see where that is very meaningful. So thank you.
Of course, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Actually, I have a follow-up to similar. With Hattie Larlam and such, is one example. I mean, I'm interested in what we can do to help increase jobs for, as kids age out of the school system, so that they can have a meaningful, a meaningful role in society.
Yes.
For themselves as well as society. And what can we do as, as Orange Village to help increase those job opportunities?
That's a great question.
Fantastic. And the vast majority of our local dollars, our levy funding, goes to waiver match. And so we can draw down federal dollars. And the more people who are independently and competitively employed do not draw down on those waiver dollars. And so that then saves local dollars for other folks who really need those more intense services. So for the young adults that can and are able and are interested to be competitively employed, again, we have a workforce development staff working specifically in this region. Happy to have that guy talk to Chamber of Commerce, any organization that wants to hire. On our website, there's an online resource guide to inclusive places, jobs, and events, and Orange Recreation is there as an inclusive place. But any business in Orange that has openings that are interested in hiring folks with developmental disabilities, we put all of those jobs right online. So everybody that works with us who are interested in jobs know that they go right to that one place to be able to find jobs from employers that have already been vetted by staff. So it's not just somebody who puts a sign up at McDonald's that they're hiring, but it's someone that has sit down with one of our workforce development staff and really talked through what do accommodations look like, what do tax credits look like, what do job coaches coming into your business look like. So all of that information we're happy to sit down and share at any time.
Thank you. I think, Judd, especially as some of these new businesses are coming in, maybe it's something that we can, proactively introduce to them as options. And of course, some of the businesses in Pinecrest, I can think, would be great opportunities for us to be able to benefit. Then, businesses are fully staffed.
Yep.
And then, obviously the jobs that are, created.
Do you support with 2N Company down in Sugar Falls?
We do and we don't. They're a fantastic company, don't get me wrong, but they have, I think what Sherry has said is that she has so many corporate sponsors that she's able to not use some of that other funding, like the VR dollars from OOD, that she's able to do some of the work without that. She was in part of our employment collaborative for a long time, but I think she's doesn't anymore. She does fantastic work and makes great breakfasts.
Haven't checked it out. Check it out.
It's wonderful. I haven't been to her new place yet. I was always going to the old place.
Other questions for Janet?
Thank you for all the work you do for
Thank
this.
you. I appreciate you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to approve the purchase of an ASV RT50 track loader with a 60-inch Erskine snowblower attachment and a Viring 60-inch V-plow at a cost not to exceed $72,078 from Buckeye Power Sales and Southeastern Equipment?
Moved.
Thank you, Stacy. Is there a second?
Second.
Bob Zugan?
For clarity, first, I want to bring your attention, the 72,078, you're going to see an attachment from Buckeye Power Sales and Southeastern. I think I had the highlighted Vernig plow for $5,879 on the second quote. That purchase price of $15,079 would be incorrect. The sum of $72,078 is all the equipment from Buckeye Power Sales and the Vernig only from Southeastern Equipment. Okay, everybody understand that clarity there? So, it was highlighted, and I think it didn't carry over to the packet. But this is for consideration by council. Plowing of the trails has been discussed going all the way back, well, initially when the trails went in. I've got a couple of emails, one that went back in 2022 to then Kathy Mulcahy, Mayor Mulcahy, about it. And we have, for approximately 4 years, have been budgeting $80,000 off to the side, but hasn't classified it as an expenditure for consideration. So money has been set aside. If it's something that we would like to start this year, we would need approval. I believe you would have that expenditure available for 2025. So what we're looking at here is we've done a number of, actually quite a bit of due diligence over the last few years with other communities, what they do, what they use. We've demoed equipment from trackless to skid steers, you know, looking for what is most doable for us, and that would provide us the ability to accomplish this with as least damage as possible to our residents. The trails are 6 feet wide, sidewalks are 5 feet wide. It was always discussed that when the trails went in, that the village would be responsible for the trails. Sidewalks have always been under ordinance, the responsibility of the residents. And it was to be determined after a number of years whether we would complete snow removal on the trails. I think it's very obvious that the trails have been well received. They are well used in the village, and certainly in safety conscious, you know, taken into consideration, we'd rather see people walking, residents, visitors, walk on our trails in the wintertime where it's a little more safe on a trail than on the side of the road. I know you can probably say that with sidewalks as well, but there's a big difference of 35-mile-an-hour road to 25-mile-an-hour road, and taking into consideration the ordinance of what we would do for snow removal on either one. Some of the challenges that we would have doing sidewalks, obviously, I think everybody on the board of council here, with the exception of Lisa, Jeff, and Kim, two of you are well off the road on not in a development. I believe Ms. Allner has a side loading garage. Everybody else has front loading garages in developments, and they know how close their garage is to the road, and they know that their snowplower piles all the snow at the end of their driveway, which is right where the sidewalks are, which becomes problematic for us to find areas to push the snow. So the intent is, after discussing with Mayor Klein, that we would do the trails and provide that service, which was talked about and intended when the trails went in. This piece of equipment that we're looking at, one has low ground pressure, is lighter weight, so it's not hopefully going to damage the trails as much as a heavier piece of equipment. It's something that can be used year-round because it's a skid steer tracked, and with its low ground pressure can be used in wet surface for either projects, whether it's in the park, doing sewer work, stuff like that. The skid steer, we're looking to equip with the V-plow along with the snow blower, because at the intersections, we also push up snow when it gets heavy into the intersection, and potentially might need the snow blower to remove some of the snow there. So can answer any questions that you additionally want, but
I have one. Would Orangewood Drive be included?
Wood Drive would not be. Those are 5 foot wide.
Okay.
This unit is about 5 feet wide. There's only very minimal amounts of, there's only a couple manufacturers of skid steers that have that width. If you're going for a trackless unit, which is basically an articulating unit, most of them come from Canada. Other communities use them. They're about $160,000, and that's essentially all they do is plow sidewalks. So we were looking at lowering our cost, making something usable and a piece of equipment that can be used year-round. The trackless also is extensively more heavier than the snowplow, and the skid steer.
Bob, I saw somebody out, I think this week during the snow, with a V-shaped.
So what we have now, and it's hit or miss, we have a Gator, it's a UTV, and it has a snowplow, but it's more like a residential snowplow, and we're very limited because it doesn't have the capacity to push snow when it gets deep. So we have the luxury when it gives an inch or two to use it. But anytime we would go, and if we have heavy snows that continuously happen, we would lose that ability to plow the trails, and once that happens, it's done.
Okay.
If we approve this, we would get this for use this winter.
They have a unit available, the snow blower is available, and there's a few weeks lead time, for our understanding from the vendor, to get the V-plow.
Okay. Great idea to get a piece to plow the trail. People can use them year-round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would the,
Would that cause an increase in overtime or anything like that?
Great question. Our intention is, I want to make it clear, this is the last thing we do. We have our priority: main roads, secondaries, developments, fire station, municipal center, parks. Site, we have only 2 residential snowplow for seniors this year that are on the list, and then we would do the trails. So we would have the availability, hopefully, just to do this during our regular course of our 8-hour day.
So you would do the park trails with this equipment?
Yes.
Okay. I get a lot of questions about that.
did we put any money in the budget for this at all, or this is completely extra?
We have reserved the funds. We did not appropriate the funds. So this will be part of our December appropriations, and we'll pay for it in December once the council makes the motion to approve the changes.
How much did we reserve exactly?
80,000 set aside.
Well, I love the idea, and if you can train me up on this thing, I'll get out there. I love it. Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Call roll.
Harry. Yes. Bilski.
Yes.
Allner. Vincent.
Yes.
Foster.
Absolutely.
Madden. Silver.
Yes. All right, thanks, Bob. Is there a motion to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with DS Architects to provide design services for the new fire station and village hall renovation projects for amount not to exceed $85,000?
I'll make that motion.
Kim, is there a second?
Second.
You, Ryan, Mayor?
It's
Explain this?
let me explain it, because we go back a little bit. Originally, the council had approved and recommended that we pursue contracts with both Bowen for the Village Hall and DS Architects for the fire station. In writing the proposals out, I asked both of them to price out doing both the project that they were assigned as well as a fee to do both projects together. And
Why did you ask that? Just out of curiosity. If
because it's always good to get a little apples and apple education and to see if there would be any really variance in that. And it turned out there was, and a pretty significant variance. And what came out of it is when I took the fee from the fire station from DS and added it to the fee that Bowen had proposed for the Village Hall renovation, the total was upwards of about over $150,000. And I went back and looked at DS's proposal, and they had a secondary proposal that included taking into account both buildings and doing them together. And they came up with the number that you see here, which saves us a pretty substantial amount of money. And I would be remiss if I didn't pursue that on behalf of the village. So I went back to Bowen, explained to them what was going on, and asked for their thoughts, if how they might address it. And they really couldn't. They couldn't come down to where this was. So that's the proposal that I now have with them. I also reached out to DS to confirm that the numbers that they have submitted were real, that they could do this. And I said, we've got this covered. And they're doing a similar project in Brunswick right now that follows along this line, and they've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to take to do it. So I said, thanks, that's great. We can move on. So at this point, we can enter it into the agreement with them and move both projects forward with the single entity. I can tell you this, that the CVD, and I'm on the building committee for the Chagrin Valley Dispatch, is doing a new facility in Valley View, and DS is doing that project as well. And I've been working with them down there, so at least I've had a chance to see what they're doing. And they've been very impressive with the work they've done for CVD, and I expect they'll do the same for Orange Village.
now, how does what we voted on a few months ago impact this?
Let me handle that.
Yeah.
That's what Steve thinks.
Under our code, council has broad discretion to determine who is the most appropriate architect to handle the design services that the village needs. The mayor sought the authority to negotiate with each of these firms, and also in furtherance of getting the most appropriate agreement with the best architect for this project, went and said, give me these as combined. So this motion would throw out what was authorized for Bowen and allow the mayor to move forward with DS to execute the agreement for both projects. If council doesn't want to do it or thinks there's some other process that should have been followed, you have the authority to say no. But if you think the mayor has followed an appropriate process to get the best price for the best design professional, then you have every right to say, okay, let's go forward with that.
And Bowen is aware that we're not, the plan as of now is to
Yes.
proceed without them.
Yeah, I spoke this afternoon with, once I put all the numbers together in kind of a spreadsheet and looked at everything, I said, I can't, in good conscience, not take advantage of what this number is for the benefit of the village. I went back to Bowen and I explained to them what the situation was and asked if there might, if they might have an alternative way to address it, and they really felt that they couldn't do it. So,
Interesting.
there will be an opportunity. There's a second phase to this project, and it's actually a bigger one that will be open for bid, which will be the final development of plans.
Open to the same type of process, solicitation.
Yeah, for the actual construction package for the two facilities. And they expressed that they would be interested in pursuing that at that time.
So there's probably some economies of scale, given the other work that DS is doing, which allows them to do this. And obviously, you know, I vetted both of them, and I would think, I have full faith that DS could handle the project and handle it well.
Interesting. All right. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Further questions or comments? We get a motion in a second?
We did have, I want to just, I did want to say something, because there's, periodically we hear from residents with respect to the potential of building a fire station on that part of the property. And so, thank you, Anna, for helping me with the computer search very much. The proposed zoning amendment, which was voted on, which was issue 14, does not disallow this in any way. And I've read it very carefully, and I can give this back to you if you want to put the exact wording of the zoning amendment that was voted on into the record. That would be, you know, fine. But there is absolutely nothing in here that prohibits or forbids this in any way. And it has been brought up several times by different residents at different meetings. So I just wanted to, you know, just put it out there that I went back to the actual amendment that was voted on by residents of our village to be sure that we're not doing anything that is in any way violating what was voted on by residents. So I'll give the language back to you so you can type it up. It's very small print. It's very hard for me to read it to you all. I did read it very closely, but it's you know.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Anna, please call roll on this motion.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Allner,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Yes.
Silver.
Yes. All right. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report for September 2025?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you, Stacy. Dana?
Good evening. You have the cash account summary for September, showing the fund cash for all bank accounts of $19,930,808. You have the summary of the monthly and year-to-date activity through September. September revenue from all sources was $1,104,512. The September expenditures from all sources or all funds is $3,045,826. The reason for the increased expenditure was the distribution of the Pinecrest tip dollars we had received in the previous month and was distributed in September. You then have the revenue and expenditure report for September 30th, which is 3/4 of the year, or 75% of our year. It shows all funds, not just the general fund. And for revenue, we're at 75% of the year. Revenue for all funds is at 90% collection of budget. And for the general fund, we're at 85% of budget. The expenditure, we're at 65% of all budgeted funds and 62% of the general fund, which is what you want to see. You want to see your revenue be higher than where we are and the expenditure to be lower. So we're looking good there. The variances are the same variances from the previous month, and as we progress into the end of the year and amend budgets, we'll be in balance and take care of those overages.
Any questions or comments for Dana? Please call roll.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Allner,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Madden, Silver.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the tax administrator's report for September of 2025?
Moved.
Thanks, Lisa. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jeff. Dana?
Okay, you have the tax administrator report for September 30th, and the gross taxes from all sources are $643,630 for September. Comparing that to last year, we're about $57,000 higher than September of 2024. And year-to-date, we're about $850,000 higher. You have the monthly cumulative and the monthly gross showing our trends for the last few years. We're looking pretty good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Anna, please call roll.
Perry. Bilski.
Yes.
Allner.
Yes.
Vincent.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Madden.
Yes.
Silver.
Yes. All right, moving on. A discussion of the bills to be paid in the month of November in the amount of $423,500.28. And additional October expenses in the amount of $127,995.65. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right, moving on. A discussion of accessory uses, 1148.02. This is what we discussed, what Kim brought up last week regarding the solar panel requirement, the legislation that governs solar panels. So Steve Byron did send this out to everybody. Everyone should have received this in their email last week. Kim, my understanding is there's language in the ordinance that specifies how solar panels should be employed by residents, and your concern is that it's too easy to get around the requirements. Did I hear that correctly?
It's, yeah, I mean, this legislation was modeled after what was put out by a lobbying group that is that not? It's, the reality is that in order for the solar panels to not be on the back and to be put on the front, they have to meet one of four things that are listed.
Yeah.
And it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it's not and, there's nothing else. And, you know, the concern was raised that it's hard to not meet one of those requirements.
The policy choice that the Planning and Zoning Commission has requested that council weigh in on is, right now, if somebody wants to put solar panels on the front of their house where people can see them, they can probably get them because the exceptions swallow up the rule, and they can get them. The question is, does council, and really, would you say that there's one member of the Planning and Zoning Commission? You. There
were 3 members, but I think even the mayor has indicated at the last meeting that he's willing to massage the language and, you know.
Well, the question is, how would you possibly do that? But does council have a concern that too many houses are going to be having solar panels on the front? And the other thing to remember is, for now, as of December 31st, there is no longer a tax benefit for doing that. So it's possible that this issue could go away until such time as the legislation is changed again.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's also, you know, we just had one, you know.
We'll have one tomorrow.
Not,
By the time you get it changed, it'll be next year, because you've got.
Right, and I get it. I just think that if you, and you know, for us to not do something about it when we know it's a problem because we think somebody won't use it is, you know, why wouldn't we want to try to fix it? I understand, Phil, you are absolutely against making the changes and that you believe that solar panels are fine. And I'm not against solar panels, and nobody on the Planning and Zoning was against solar panels. But we don't live in California. People don't necessarily want to look at them. And there was a concern that was raised that there is nothing that requires the homeowner to make sure that they blend in any way with their roof materials. And there's nothing that requires that they keep or put in any screening material, landscaping material, trees, that would help shield the neighbor from having to look at it. So that is the concern.
With the incentive, has there been a major influx this year of people requesting solar panels? It doesn't seem to me there's been a huge.
It's been there since early Biden administration, I think.
And have we seen a major influx this isn't?
Solar panels are so expensive. It's really not like something that many people probably, even with the tax credit. I mean, I don't know. I just have heard stories from people who put them on. I haven't looked myself at but it's not a cheap endeavor.
Do we know how many houses in Orange Village have solar panels on their roofs? Ballpark?
No.
6?
6? Okay.
2, and of those, I mean, and 2 came in the last. The 2 that just came that they're not up yet? Okay, so, I mean, a third of those have come just recently. So, again, it was a concern. I promised the other members of the planning and zoning that I would raise it. I do think that tweaking it would not be very difficult. Planning and zoning could certainly redline it and make the suggestions. You know, the thought was, we do have other ordinances in place that try to balance things for neighbors, so.
Yeah, anything still has to come through planning and zoning, right? I mean,
We have no way to deny it.
To be adopted by council, planning and zoning would just be the recommending body.
Right.
to
Oh,
start.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Initiate the language.
yeah.
Well,
My sense is there's not much appetite on council to put further restrictions on, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but to discourage people from adding solar panels. But if planning and zoning thinks they can improve the language of this, I don't have any issue with that. If them trying to take a stab at it and bring it back to us.
Philip, what you got?
Yeah, I want to hear Phil.
I don't understand the objection to solar panels at all. I've been in many other parts of the country, have them everywhere. And so I don't see them as an eyesore. If we want to say language that they should blend with the roof, or that there's that sort of thing, that's fine, but restricting them from the front of the building doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Well, we're not talking about restricting them from the front. They're already restricted from the front of the building. They can only be on they can only be on the front of the building if the back doesn't work, right? Then they go to the front, and then they would have one of these things that they would have to meet. The restriction is that there's no way they can't not meet this. I mean, so the thought is why wouldn't we want to look after the neighbors and have them have some screening if necessary? Or I wouldn't necessarily, I don't want to look at a light brown roof with black solar panels on it where it's really obvious. And I'll tell you something,
But then
that's not a different issue. That's not a different issue. It's exactly this issue. We could not prevent that from happening based on the legislation that was there.
Southern California, most of the places where you see these are like orange or brown clay tile roofs with solar panels on top of them. I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I just don't even think it's practical to.
I think it would be, if I were massaging the language, I would take out the part that says can't be visible from the street or sidewalk at the front of their property. I mean, why do we have that? I mean,
Don't residents always have the opportunity to come before, if somebody applies for solar panels, they could go before planning and zoning,
We don't give notice of
not on solar panels?
No.
stuff like that. Variances, yes, which is a quasi judicial hearing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But mere application of codes, residents don't get notice of that. Neighboring residents.
My 2 cents is that I don't want to see more restrictions on solar panels or any type of alternate energy things that people can use in our community. I think it's really important to take away the obstacles and the hurdles that people do have. So
I wrote that legislation in 2013.
and how they look. So, sorry, but it's my
I agree with Lisa on that too, and aesthetically, I haven't found it to be an issue. I've seen a couple houses that have them, and it hasn't been offensive to me in any way, and I haven't heard complaints from direct neighbors about those, so I think I would agree.
There's sort of a flip side to this, I think, that has to do with sort of a philosophic approach to it. When you see the solar panels, it suggests that the owner of that house has a commitment to the environment, that they want to reduce their carbon footprint in the community, and it's something that we should all be thinking about anyhow. I know it's something that will be part of the design discussions with the new buildings that we're going to be doing. I think it's important that we address that. But more importantly is that it says something about who we are and what we believe in. And at some point, I would hope that they would be as ubiquitous here as they are in other parts of the country that see them more frequently than we see them. But if there's some language that might make it more reasonable, I'm willing to do it and at least discuss it. But I don't, this is not a situation that I think requires going to war over. And because I think it's important that we consider having them.
I think language in an ordinance that makes it more restrictive and harder for residents to use an alternative source of energy like this, I think makes Orange Village overall look a little backwards looking and not so forward thinking and forward looking, I think. So if you want to take it back
To Ryan's point, the cost makes it hard enough, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the costs come down now that they can be.
Still
Yeah, but
not
that
something
doesn't
for the
manufacture
masses.
in the U.S. though, I mean, but nonetheless,
and the fact that you know, even with the tax credits in place, there's been what 6 houses in Orange Village that
as I said, this wasn't a huge issue, but it was an issue for a few members, and they were concerns because the one in particular was really, it's not going to look good.
It's just
And you know, there were concerns about the fact that the, you know, neighbors across the street don't get notice, and they're just going to have to look at it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
While you might think that it looks okay on the clay tiles in California, there are many people here in Ohio who don't want it to look like California. So, you know, that was the concern.
well, all right, well,
I mean, we don't generally have restrictions on how people paint their houses, or they can paint their house pink if they want to.
We certainly have a lot of restrictions, as I've learned being on planning and zoning. We do have a lot of restrictions, you know,
HOAs often have restrictions
You
about
know,
that.
Yes,
so
okay, but
they do exist.
have that restriction.
Correct. I think what I'm hearing here is if you want to take it back to planning and zoning and see if they can work to in their view improve the language, I think it's something we would all be willing to take under consideration at a future meeting. Certainly can't guarantee that anything would pass, but
That's fine.
that's my takeaway. So, anything else on this? All right. Thank you. Any audience comments related to agenda items? I think you know the drill by now.
Sign-in sheet. It's 2 times. Good evening. I'm John Loftus, live 4231 Lander Road, and I'm commenting on the discussion we just had and the concerns raised about appearance. I am one of the 6 households that have solar panels. Some of the members here who I know, and they've said, oh, I didn't know you had panels at all. The issue of, and we put these on in 2022, and if you think that it's so easy to get around the issue, panels on the front, you're wrong, because our installers, which is Yellow Light Solar, said, no, we don't meet the criteria for putting any panels on the front of your house.
They did.
And as we discussed, it's a subjective issue. You know, what's viable? You know, is it, you know, so we have it on the east side of the house and on my garage, which actually does face south, but there are 60-foot trees, you know, in the neighbor's yard. So for most of the year, it's quite shaded. So when you say that it's just so easy to put it on the front of the house, no, it is not. So instead of being able to reach 85 or 90% of my energy needs, I'm at 65%.
So they are on the back of your house, you're saying?
They're on some, I've got 27 panels. There are 9 on the back and 18 on the garage.
Which is, okay.
That's south facing. So May, June, and July, you know, we're kicking out all kinds of energy. As soon as the sun starts dropping down, you know, you could watch the energy drop off dramatically. So, you know, if you, and the other thing I always found very interesting, because I've heard people say, oh, you're going to put those panels up there, it's going to look terrible. Well, we've got 18 panels on my garage roof. As guests come in and they pull up right next to that, you could almost touch it with your hands. I have to point out that there are solar panels there. nobody sees them. When I walk them into the back of the house where there's 9 panels on the east facing, I again have to point out there are panels up there. So this ridiculous statement that they look terrible, I just don't see that. As Mr. Madden pointed out, we don't, restrict people on how you paint your house. We've got, antennas, we've got, people's dishes up there. I don't think the solar panels are a big deal. Now, what the village should be looking at is maybe reducing some of that language and not even having a comment about the front of the house. But we should go beyond that. The mayor mentioned, we're going to be looking at putting panels on municipal buildings. Should have been doing this years ago. When you re-roofed this, that's when you should have been looking at it. I mean, we're falling behind in trying to take advantage of, these the solar capabilities. The other thing we should be looking at is how do we encourage our citizens to use these things? We should be looking at possibly tax abatements. The feds and the state are backing away from it. They are going backwards. We, as a local government, should be looking about going forward. Let's look at ways that we can encourage our citizens. I'm one of 6 in the entire village. That's really disappointing. Let's find a way that we can do it. There's another program, it's called PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy. That helps finance these types of programs based on the cost savings that you achieve by putting in alternative energy sources. And, we have, I'm assuming, a very strong financial position, probably a very low financing cost. We might be able to use the PACE program to help our citizens finance these programs, especially now that the federal government and the state of Ohio have been backing away from these things. So there's more that we need to do. I believe, as Mr. Madden pointed out last time, that what we need to do is see solar panels so ubiquitous that nobody even notices them. And I hate to tell you this, they don't notice them right now. So thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Any other audience comments related to agenda items? You know the drill, too.
Hi, Amanda Kurland, 150 Valencia Circle. 2 things. One, just to go back, just so it's on the record also, what Kim was saying about the wording on the ballot when the Pinecrest South development was approved. I just want to say that I think what's more important than the wording on the ballot is what the citizens were told about the project, what was presented to them. And I just want to put as proof out there, just to say what they were told, that I found very quickly with a quick search, the Yes on 14 promotional materials that were put out by the developer. I have the mayor of Orange Village, Mayor Klein, saying on many points, but one of them is 37 plus acres of permanent green space that will be owned by the village. So I just want to put that on their record that Orange Village did put out any things that saying that that was being offered. On a different topic, just because we were just talking about the solar panels, I agree 100% with Mr. Loftus that it should be so ubiquitous. I wish I had solar panels. My brother, who lives in Missouri, where they have more sun, frankly, but it's amazing what it does for him and his electric car and everything. He pays almost nothing for utility costs. So thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we have no old business. Moving on to new business, ordinance 2025-24, an ordinance amending the annual appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of Orange Village during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2025. This is on for first reading. Dana, are you going to cover this, or?
This is on first reading. It can stand, and we can consider it at a later date in December, but this is just going to be our final budget for 2025. We'll have a new exhibit with the final figures prior to third reading.
Any questions or comments on this? All right, moving on. Ordinance 2025-25, an ordinance to make annual appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of Orange Village during the calendar year 2026. Dana?
Tonight, we had our budget hearings with the council, with the department heads, and talked about the 2026 budget. This is for 2026. It can stand also. I have a few minor changes to the exhibit that's attached to this ordinance, and I will have that out to you guys later this week. So you can either consider suspension on second read or let it go to third reading on December 10th, and we can have it passed before the end of the year.
Thank you. We made this confusing for ourselves by having ordinance 2025-24 for 25 and 2025-25 for 26. Moving on, Resolution 2025-6, a resolution requesting the fiscal officer to advance taxes in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
This is a housekeeping item. This we do every single year, and the advanced taxes is to allow us to receive the property tax collections throughout the year instead of waiting till they do the final at the county, and so it just gets us our money sooner by allowing us to take these advances.
Anyone have any questions or comments on this? I think we need a motion. Is there a motion to pass Resolution 2025-6?
Moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Last call, any questions or? Last call, any questions or comments? All right, Anna, please call roll.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Allner,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Madden,
Yes.
Silver.
Yes. All right, are there any audience comments related to matters which advance the good of the village? Looks like none. Mayor Klein, what do you got for us today?
I have a short list. First of all, I want to welcome everybody tomorrow night for Internet Safety Night that will be here on November 13th at 6:30 p.m. Hopefully people got the code red that went out today on it. I want to thank the Orange Village Police Department and Orange Cares Committee and the Ohio Crimes Against Children Task Force for bringing this important topic to Orange Village. They're going to present issues that relate to the youth on the internet and how the internet can be a very dangerous place for young people and what to do about it. And so that will be here tomorrow night. Leaf collection continues until November 26th, which is the day before Thanksgiving. I want to wish and speaking of that, want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, because we will not have another meeting before that to send out those greetings. Shop with a Cop tickets will continue to be available until December 5th. If you haven't engaged in it in the past, you should. It's a wonderful event for that engages the Orange Police Department with young people who would not otherwise necessarily get gifts at the holiday times. And the money that we raise is used by the police to give each child a stipend to go shopping, and they take the kids for shopping, they take them to lunch, and hopefully they take them home. Another program that has been initiated by the fire department that you may see in the Orange newsletter is Olivia's Dream Toy Drive, which begins Friday and continues through December 11th. The Orange Fire Department is collecting new unwrapped toys for this little girl. This was something that she wanted to do in her lifetime. Unfortunately, she was ill and was not able to see this come to fruition, and the dream goes on her behalf. And I would hope that all of us would want to contribute to something like that. Heritage Home Program is offering a 1.4 to 2% interest rate for repairs and or renovations of homes that are 50 years or older. The word on the street is that the interest rate on this will end December 31st. So if you're interested in it, you need to visit their website at heritagehomeprogram.org for more information. They're very helpful. I actually did a project with a client over in Gates Mills using it, and they used it. The Artisan and Farmers Market will hold their winter market on Saturday, December 6th at the
Moreland Hills Elementary School.
Moreland Hills Elementary School. And then, last but not least, and I'm going to kick this one over to Stacy because I know she's going to handle it, is lighting up Orange for the holidays. And
I do have a question about the internet tomorrow. Can that be recorded and or live streamed for people who can't get here?
are we able to?
I don't know how they're setting it up or anything that they're doing, so I'm not going to say yes or no. I'll ask.
It's going to. I know that the setup and the presentation is a. They're using a deck and a slide presentation, because the screen's over there for that purpose. So I don't know how well that shows up on the broadcast.
Maybe we can make the slides available.
The slide deck could be available though. I'll talk to them about that.
Before it's amazing.
Yeah, Mayor? Okay, thank you. I don't think I have any comments. Moving on to comments by council members. Lisa Perry?
I have a couple things tonight. First, I'd like to send out a heartfelt thank you to Dana and all the department heads for all their hard work, and the mayor, and everybody involved in creating a smooth budgeting process that makes it, makes everything easy for us to look at, to contemplate, and to digest, ask questions, and have a resolution in such a efficient way. So thank you to everybody who's involved in that. And then the other thing I want to talk about is that we were invited by the fire department, Larry,
That was cool.
and their team, to participate in extraction exercises last Friday. So you all got that message, and I showed up, and Judd for a little while was there. I highly encourage any of you. There's not a lot of cool parts to this job, but this is one of them. I had so much fun, as Larry put it, playing with the tools that they use every day to save people's lives. I was given an opportunity to break glass, which you never get that opportunity, and what kind of strength and effort with different types of things that took. And I also took off a car door with a spreader, a Jaws of Life spreader, and a clipper, right? Is that a clip or a cutter? Cutter. And the fire department really encouraged me to take off the entire door. And it was so fun. And it gives me, and it would give you all too, perspective at how hard their jobs are. That equipment's really heavy. I couldn't hold it and control it at the same time myself. Jeff, you could have, but I couldn't.
I don't know, man.
Even though I exercise, guys. It gives us also, as council people, perspective of what incredible technological equipment is necessary for that kind of job. They use this all the time. It's been actually, I was in an accident on the freeway where they had to use something to open the door too. I don't really remember a lot about it, but I remember my door wouldn't open. They had to get something. So, it's important, even for us all to be aware of like all that stuff. And the technology is always changing, right? So what I also got to see, and it was so cool, is they took our really huge truck. What truck? It's the Orange Village. What is it? One of the huge plow trucks. I don't know how much it weighs, but they lifted it up, the front wheels this high off the ground with airbags. Okay? Pretty challenging. They also had another car set up with a dummy man on the hood of the car, and a tree that was this big around laying on top of the car. And they had to also lift that up, and they had an exercise on what did you call it, the worst case scenario? Something like that. So, a lot of things happening there. They practice these things, gives them skills. All kinds of communities were invited to participate and did. They had experts in the different types of equipment here to teach all of the fire department officers how to use it. It's pretty cool. So thank you for that. I loved it. Thank you. Anybody wants to see pictures?
Yeah, she looked great in her turnout gear and wearing the chief's helmet. That was
Wearing Larry, so somebody has to donate their equipment for you to wear. And Larry's, this is the second time I've worn Larry's turnout gear. So thank you for letting me.
Thank you, Lisa. Ryan Belsky,
No comments.
Kim Olner.
Just a couple things. Can we remind the snowplow companies to not push the snow across the street into somebody else's yard, and to, I don't know when they come in for permits or whatever, but I don't know, there's always, you know, your guys come and make the street so nice, and then they just shove all the snow in the street. And there's just one company that just constantly is doing it. And every year I hear about it from neighbors, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about it again this year. The code red call today was messed up. The text worked, but the call just kept repeating the first sentence or two. For me, I don't know if it was for other people or not.
Okay.
By normal, it came out
Weird. Okay. All right. And then the other thing I wanted to know is if we can look.
I've had other issues where the text in the voicemail shows up weird, but the audio is normal. The audio was normal for me today.
Yeah, I
The text was.
didn't get the voicemail because I picked it up, but it kept looping, but
Oh.
only the first couple sentences. And I mean, I could read the text, so it was fine. You know, because I get a phone call and a text. It was fine, but I didn't know if it was just, maybe it was my phone. I don't know. All right. And the final thing is, can we look at putting on a CPR first aid class, and then as well a stop the bleed class?
We've done
Just for residents to, you know, the more people that get trained, the better, kind of thing.
Is that something we've done before, Chief? Like first aid for residents? We do that, or does the Red Cross come in and put that on?
Mercy House bills.
Yeah, I don't know about the certification. I just think it's a matter of if an emergency happens, the more people that know, the better off we all are. Okay. Yeah, I would appreciate that. I just think it's a good thing for us to offer for our residents. No, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. That's it.
Thank you. I too have had a couple of questions from residents I wanted to throw out. One is about the AT&T fiber project in Orange Hill. Do you know what the status of that is or when that's going to wrap up?
Well, it's ran by AT&T, so we just have an observer on site, but I was told actually today reached out and they're hopeful at the end of November sometime, but it's all weather pendant and whether they run into any issues.
Thank you. And then the other question that's come up, and I know this isn't your issue, but I know you're always on the ball with it too, is the water pressure issue in Orange Hill. Ours was intermittent today. I don't know if yours, I know you were out earlier, but yeah, we had it today, but I know around East Orange Hill and some of the other houses along there, they've had really bad problems with water pressure. I know they've called Cleveland Water. Does this have to do with the Solon water main, and should they be calling Solon, or is there something else that could be done?
Could be any number of issues. It might be a water main break in another town that feeds that line through a transmission line. I would remind every resident, as we do, if you have experiencing water pressures, you need to call CWD, and they may prompt you. There's a prompt on there, whether there's outages or stuff, but it's the only way that they can follow through and try and triangulate where the problem might be. So this is the first I heard of it as of recently. So, and again, hopefully maybe that will disappear in some time with the new water main when it eventually happens.
Yeah. Short school report tonight. The school board met Monday night. Just of special note, because it affects everybody in all of our communities, is OCR's announcement about enhancements to the high school auditorium, which would include a new 8-speaker system for a full sound quality enhancement and the purchase of a cyclorama, which is a type of a backdrop that would offer the illusion of an endless background or serve as surface to project images and lighting effects. It is an OCR purchased item, but it's going to be available for the entire community for use in the auditorium. So it's a really cool thing. So hopefully you'll be hearing more about that. Also, the school board is considering a rehire deal for both the superintendent and his administrative assistant. There was no public response at this meeting. So if you have any questions about that.
A what deal?
Rehire.
What is that?
Why would they do that?
It's done actually often.
I know it's done often. Why, do they say why they're considering it with him?
He's looking to do.
Yeah, they're going to do a revised contract. Nobody commented at the meeting, but if you do have any comments or thoughts, you're encouraged to send them into the school board members. The next school board meeting is Monday, November 24th. The high school hosts its fall play this weekend, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. It's a wonderful story for all ages. Bring family. And what the mayor alluded to earlier, I talked about it at length last week, so I won't at length this week, just to remind you to please put December 10th from 5:30 to 6:30 on your calendars for Light Up Orange for the holidays. It promises to be a really wonderful event. Musical groups representing lots of different cultures. Signs will be going up soon, so keep an eye out for it. Please tell your friends, neighbors. We'd love to have a large group in attendance. That is right before our council meeting.
Finance meeting that day?
No.
No? Okay.
Arts and Culture next meets on Thursday, December 4th. And I also just want to wish everybody a very safe, healthy, and happy Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you get to spend it with those you love and those who love you.
Thank you. Where are we? Jeff Foster. All right. Phil Madden.
Let's see, the next meeting of the Sustainability and Resilience Committee is going to be December 9th. And at that meeting, we want to think about planning what our next speakers and actions are going to be. And we'll be looking for a new chair because our current committee chair will be on council next year. So remember that, December 9th.
All right. Thank you. I will make a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing the appointment and compensation of public officials. Is there a second? Thank you. Please call roll.
Perry? Bilski?
Yes.
Allner? Yes. Vincent?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Madden?
Yes.
Silver?
Yes. We will not be voting anything after executive session.